point on, I was in prayer. Lord, what do you want me to say? And I went through one portion and said, okay, maybe this is it, and didn't feel confident with that. And I went through a whole bunch of stuff, and you know what we're going to do tonight? We're going to pray. There is so much that's going on in the world today. There's so much that we need to be in prayer about, and the Lord knows what's going on over in Israel, what's going on with our friends in the abortion crisis clinic, and the things that our country, or not our country, our state is trying to make decisions based on that closing of these clinics. That's certainly tremendous needs of prayer. Also, a prayer request. Brother James Knox is in the hospital. He has a blockage that the cardiologist will be looking at tomorrow. He did not have a heart attack, but he has a blockage in his heart. So that's something that we need to keep in prayer. I'm going to read a couple of verses concerning prayer, and then what I'd like to do is, we have 40 missionaries, and we have a dozen or so people here. If we break it up, maybe take three. I'll give 3 missionaries to each individual, and we'll break that up and make sure each one of our missionaries are getting prayed for tonight. And that'll be a part of our time together. Okay, I'm going to read some of these verses and get us prepared for our time of prayer. First Chronicles 16:11. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face continually. Matthew 7:7 says, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 26:41, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Luke 18:1, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. John 16:24, hitherto have ye asked nothing in my name. Ask and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. Ephesians 6:18, pray always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Philippians 4:6, Colossians 4:2 also. 1 Thessalonians 5:16, pray without ceasing. James 5:13, is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. So there's some encouraging scriptures to tell us and inquire and burden us to pray. So with that, let's take some prayer requests, and I'm going to read them off. And if you would, Nick, would you take Emmanuel Abachi, and Dwight and Jean Billingsley, and Vernon and Briones. Christina, will you take Kevin and Stacy Byers, and Jim and Sylvia Campana, and Tom and Angie Castello? Kristen, will you take the Christian Law Association, Anil and Delphus Javed, and Jean and Joanne Donahue? Lindsay, will you please take Joel Desir, Ray and Julia Edwards, and Mark Farnham? Dot, will you please take Craig and Chimney Fitzgerald, John and April Flowers, Mike and Christina Fleck? Dave, will you please take Anthony and Brenda Garris, Tim and Stephanie Germano, and Jean and Nellie Harmon? Bonnie, will you please take Andy and Joy Hearn, Jason and Dory Hines, Raymond and Lori Jones? Vicki, will you please take the Kinsman family in Jared and Joy Clement, and the Landing in family? Rich, will you please take James and Susie Lejeune, Matthew and Maggie Mooberry, Rudy and Tess Rico? Nate, will you please take Matthew and Maggie Mooberry, Rudy and Tess Rico, Mike and Melanie Roberts. Betsy, will you please take Rudy and Tess Rico? Did I just give that? Okay, will you please take Mike and Melanie Roberts? The Roberts? I did not. Jay and Kathy Ross, Jason and Anna Russell. Ralph, Alexander and Kristen Spear, Dave and Catherine Tremmel, Chris and Luann War. Carol, Brad and Deborah Wells, Sid and Ada White, Rich and Joanna Wiles. Okay, Sierra, last one in the end, last in the end zone. Lachana and Alcina Yankana, Josh and Francis Deku. And that's our list. And I'll play for the rest. Amen. So let's take up your prayer requests also, and then we'll go to prayer. Prayer request. We have much to pray about. Yes, Bonnie.